Well, I will say one thing about the NFL is that it's any given Sunday, right? And I mean it. It's always an any given Sunday. You never know what's going to happen. But what's going on? This is Frank Nitty again to talk some Packers football. I love doing that. Since my last video, the Packers have since been on a 3-game winning streak, defeating the Los Angeles Chargers, the Detroit Lions, and now recently the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. 3 games that, by all accounts, we were expected to lose. I'm pretty sure nobody thought the Packers would win these 3 games. Let alone, I'm pretty sure nobody thought that we would win a single one, because these were more or less the more better teams on our schedule. The Chargers game, came down to the wire for the most part. The Lions game, we were pretty much playing as the better team from start to finish. And that Chiefs game was kind of back and forth, but hey, I'll take those 3 wins any day. The Lions game, they honestly shocked me the most by how well they played after getting spanked the last time we played them. And honestly, I think the potential of this football team, honestly, came completely on full display when these guys are just playing well. When you're just seeing it over these last few games, just better play calling, and most importantly, these guys are actually going out there and executing. No sloppy football, no guys not being where they're supposed to be. Jordan Love making questionable throws, and guys dropping passes. All that stuff that you saw when we were losing those football games. The offense struggles, they came down to just that. Yes, some of the play calls and have been suspect, but a lot of times these guys were just struggling to get into any kind of rhythm. Had they been playing like this from the beginning, we arguably only had maybe 2 games losses on our schedule. For the most part, every other game that we lost, we were right there. We were never just blown out and just beaten up. The only time that happened was, again, the Lions game. So, but like I said, it's football, man. It's not always gonna go the way you want it to. You can't never go into football games expecting for things to be easy. Anybody that thinks that, you're watching the wrong sport. But when it does go your way, it's a thing of beauty. I'll say that much. When it does go your way, it's a thing of beauty. All the close games we lost, I came on here saying that this team doesn't know how to win. And that's literally what I said. I said this team doesn't know how to win. Well, for these last few games, they've been learning how to. With some lucky breaks here and there, but learning how to win the game all the same. That game versus the Bears, the first 3 quarters against the Falcons, showed what this team can be, and we're playing our best football and how they will look when they're not making mistakes and they're executing. So for the most part, I'm happy with these last 3 wins. The offense is looking better. You're seeing a lot of play action, getting big chunks of plays from it. That Matt LaFleur offense that we're used to seeing. One key factor is no turnovers. That was a huge problem all season, especially in late game situations where Love would just throw a pick in crunch time, leading to ultimately to a loss. You haven't been seeing any of that in these last 3 games that we won. So that's a big takeaway. But let's go ahead and talk about this most recent win against the Chiefs. Unless the playoffs are made, this will go down arguably as the biggest win this season. You can maybe argue the game before that on Thanksgiving against the Lions, where no one gave us a shot, as I said, to win that game. But then again, it was the same thing here. So either way, beating both the Lions and the Chiefs back to back is something else. The Chiefs have been one of the best teams in football since Patrick Mahomes took over. But this season, while they're still good, they've been having their struggles. But still, Pat Mahomes is on the other side of football. So for each drive, it was crucial and important to score points, because other than that one turnover, the Chiefs drove down the field each time they had the ball. But I'll give the defense credit for holding them to a couple of field goals. Sacking Patrick Mahomes in the red zone, those stops were crucial. We could have been easily caught in a shootout, and I don't want to be caught in a shootout with the Chiefs. I just don't. Thankfully, after going down the field and scoring, we led the entire game. Love hit tight end Ben Sims for an opening score, and twice found Christian Watson for touchdowns. He finished with 25 of 36 passing for 267 yards and a passer rating of 118.6. So he played another good game. Pat Mahomes was just held to only 210 yards of passing and that one interception. Christian Watson finished with 7 catches, but then 2 scores. But, he left with that hamstring injury late, which sucks since he was really starting to come alive after another slow start to the season. Losing him to another hammy just blows on so many levels. he makes a big impact on our passing game when he's hot. All right, when he's hot and he's getting open and he's making these big plays, it just makes our receiving core a lot more better than it actually is, because we have the talent all over the place. We do. The Packers offense is not without talent, especially at the wide receiver position. Okay, and when all these guys are healthy and they're out there on the field, and Watson is doing his thing, it's a scary wide receiving core. I'm proud. I can proudly say that. Right. So like I said, he makes a big impact on the game when we're actually able to get him the ball consistently. So I hate to just see it end so early. I just really hope this hamstring injury doesn't keep him out as long as that first one did to begin the season. But I'll give the offensive line also a lot of credit for the pass protection. They gave Jordan Love plenty of time to find these guys open. They held up against the blitz, which against a team like the Chiefs that had, I think they blitzed the most or second most in the NFL. But, Jordan had time to find guys open. They even did okay in their run blocking. Open up some lanes for A.J. Dillon to run through. I think he had about like 5 runs, almost 5 yards or more, which thankfully they took advantage of the Chiefs' struggling run defense. Patrick Taylor even had a few good runs, so that's that goes to show you, man. So like one of the problems I had also again is I hated seeing our offense being so one dimensional. Just drop back to pass and Jordan Love throwing the ball over 40 times. It's like that's not how you want this offense to go. You don't want Jordan Love throwing the ball that many times under any scenario, being one dimensional and having no run game whatsoever to lean on to take some pressure off him. And that was one of the biggest problems, is just not being able to find ways to take pressure off of him by getting this run game going. And when the run game is going, that just opens up play action and allows us to spread the ball around to the many weapons this offense has. The defense, as I said, got a crucial stops in the red zone, so I'm not going to try to be too hard on them. They pressured back Patrick Mahomes, they sacked him a few times, and got a late game interception, thus winning the turnover battle. They played about as well as you can hope, because you can't expect to just go out there and just stop Patrick Mahomes in that Chiefs offense. That's just unrealistic. But what you can hope is that they get stops when they need to, and for the most part they did. But as always, it's still the Achilles heel with this defense is and always will be the run defense. I hate to get negative about it, but it's just in these situations. But it's just our defense, as it always does, just suck when it comes to run. When it comes to stopping the run, just bottom line, man. There's no way around it. The Chiefs average about 6 yards per carry. The Chiefs average about 6 yards per carry, and it was just really painful to watch. It really was. Travis Kelce, as I was about to say, averaged about 20 yards per reception and was running wide open in the middle field a few times. Devondre Campbell and the rest of those guys need to be better in coverage. These linebackers got to be better in coverage, because Travis Kelce is not somebody that you should be leaving open ever. So, no excuse for that. These guys got to get better in their coverage, man. Anderson. But what about our kicker, Anderson Carson, who missed an extra point in these last 3 straight games, one of which was blocked, granted, and had a missed field goal in 4 of 6 games. But for this game, he was perfect from both. The Packers needed all those points, man. Hope it stays that way, because you're leaving points off the board, missing extra points, man. So it was really getting on my nerves. So I'm glad that he was able to go out there and make the kicks that he needed to, especially the last one at the end of the game. But I will say this much, man. It really has been watching this. It really has been good watching this offense come to life, and it started with that game against the Steelers. And even though we lost that game and Love threw 2 interceptions, you really started to see this offense, really find their stride. And you can maybe argue it started with the Rams, but consistency is what this offense was lacking. Rhythm is what this offense was lacking. Not executing is what this offense was lacking. And you're not seeing any of those issues these last 4 to 5 games. They've been playing a lot more better football, and it's helped this team win 4 out of the last 5. And if not for those few mistakes, we could have possibly been on a 5-game win streak. You never know. You never know, man. But like I said, it's football. You just never know. So the only way to go from here is just to see how the Packers respond to these wins. especially against these big football teams like Chiefs and the Lions. You just gotta see, man, because I know a lot of people are going out there saying, "Oh, the Packers definitely can make the playoffs now because the rest of their schedule is so easy." And again, I don't like that word. There's nothing easy in the NFL. Regardless of a team's record, you can't go into any game just expecting to win, and think it's just gonna be easy picking. It's the NFL. It's the NFL. It's any given Sunday. So I don't want to see this team take their foot off the gas at all. I don't want to see us take our foot off the gas whatsoever and end up in a trap game where we're all of a sudden losing to a football team that we're better than, or at the very least have a better record than. Because I'm telling you, man, I don't want to see that. I really don't want to see that, man. And it can easily happen. So just keep your fingers crossed and just hope that the Packers just continue to play like this for the rest of the season, man. I don't want to see us fall off whatsoever. I don't want to go back to that. Watching this team play for the rest of September, all of October, and the beginning of November was painful. So hopefully we can keep it up, man. But fingers crossed that this offense keeps it up, man. We already know pretty much what to expect from the defense, but let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that this offense continues to keep on striving and keep on making plays, man, and just getting hot at the right time. That's what you want, your team to get hot and be playing their best football towards the end of the season. And I think for the most part, the Packers are doing that. That's all I got. Until next time, peace.